Hello, everyone. This is the Brothers Woods podcast. This is our first podcast that we're doing, our first episode, and so I just kind of wanted to get that out there. The quality's probably not going to be the best ever, but you got to start somewhere, and this is where we're starting. This podcast is kind of like a book club kind of thing, except a book club that's also like movies, TV shows, and maybe even games as well. And it's going to be focused on fantasy and science fiction and superheroes and things like that. Will probably be the main focus of this podcast. And we'll take things, we'll review them, and have our opinions on them. And if you like it, you like it. And if not, you don't. It's all good. But without further ado, let's get started on our first episode, which is going to be on Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. Is it good? I hope it is. And here we go. Welcome back. I'm Josh.
I'm Jared.
And we're here to discuss Valerian. Have a little podcast about Valerian, the City of 1,000 Places.
Planets. We looked it up.
City of 1,000 Planets. And so my little quickie review is it was okay. I like the visuals. The visuals were great. I don't like specifically the main casting choice, but some of the casting choices, but specifically Dane DeHaan, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I really did not like him as a cast. Not him as an actor, but just him for this specific role was absolutely awful, and I have no idea what Luc Besson was looking at.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as everyone else's. Visually, this is an amazing movie. Blown away over and over again. And the whole structure of the plot is just, how do we get you to see something else? How do you get you to see a different part of this world? But then casting fell through really bad, and then the story kind of falls apart at the end. There's not really much of a story. Really.
I mean,
it just sort of goes.
Okay. It was just kind of like a one thing after another. Yeah, trying to throw a lot in one movie. But yeah, the casting I think is kind of it kept taking me out of the
mostly comes down to Dane, which I don't want to call it bad acting because I don't know, but it doesn't feel like he was the right person for the role. It felt like we were saying earlier, it's like casting like a 6-year-old girl for like a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson part. Like, she can do the best she wants, but it's not gonna. There's nothing she can really do.
It doesn't make sense. Which, people want to compare it to The Fifth Element for this movie, obviously, because Luc Besson did that. A lot of people love the movie. I personally, it's one of my favorite all-time movies. But in that thing, the casting was just absolutely perfect. And I think that's one of the big things that made the movie was how perfect the casting was in The Fifth Element. With, Bruce Willis, Mila, Gary Oldman, Ruby Rod.
Chris Tucker is Ruby Rod.
So good.
Chris Tucker playing Chris Tucker.
Yeah, Chris Tucker playing Chris Tucker. A feminine version of Chris Tucker. But overall, it visually was stunning, and I thought the movie was overall decent. It's probably going to get like a 6 out of 10.
I think that's probably what people will give it, and that's probably what I'd say it's worth watching for the visuals.
Yeah, I'd probably give it more like an 8.5 if they recast Dane. If they just reshot the movie, recast him, I'd give it like an 8.5.
I think it's worth to watch, but I probably wouldn't want to watch it again, just for the visuals and the. I mean, if you want to see like a cool sci-fi world,
it's definitely worth the watch. 100% worth the watch. So we're kind of going to go through the movie and kind of like not necessarily scene by scene, but sort of scene by scene, give what we were thinking about it. So the first scene, we got these crazy, awesome looking aliens, like almost like beautiful fish aliens,
like bald women. Even the men are bald women.
And they even talk with like a feminine.
Yeah, they're all very feminine,
like tone,
and they're living on a paradise. I was about to say island, but it's like a planet, I guess.
Paradise planet. It's a beautiful island. They got these pearls, which have somehow hold tons of energy, and then
power pearls.
Power pearls.
And I think the name of the species is pearls. It's kind of confusing later on.
Also is, but actually kind of reminded me of gemstones from Stormlight Archives. A little bit. But and then from there, the planet comes under, by the way, this whole thing is a spoiler, so stop now if you don't want to get anything spoiled.
Yeah, we're going to spoil it.
Hopefully that was understood. But the planet, there's some sort of battle, some war that goes down, destroys the whole planet, essentially. And, we cut from there and go to Agent Valerian and Laureline, who are also on some other beach.
A hologram.
A hologram beach, but it wasn't an actual beach.
On their way to a mission.
Yeah, they're on the way to a mission. They're on like a hologram beach, and so the mission takes place on another planet. It looks kind of like a desert planet, but it's supposedly like some extra dimensional market.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck. Actually, they're like it's like VR almost. Like they're putting on goggles, they're putting on gloves and stuff so that they can interact with this market. And if you don't, then you're just in the middle of a desert. But if you do, it's the big market, I think they call it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's great.
It was really unique. I actually really liked how unique it was. It gave like such a unique experience.
And there's weird. It's like almost like VR looking because at a point all he has is his hand through in the market, and the rest is in the desert part. So it's just like walking around with like a gun, just a gun in his hand for like it's like VR. It's pretty.
I guess
funny.
I'm assuming that was just some other dimension. I guess maybe that's.
Yeah. So he's like.
There must be some other way to get to. Well, I guess they have the technology to get to the dimension, but instead of doing that, you can just go in VR style,
which is crazy.
Which must take maybe like less energy or something.
I don't know why you would hold a market in another dimension, but
yeah, I'm assuming it's maybe something
cool as hell.
They found the other dimension, the market was there, and then they.
I don't know. Don't think about it. That's
I'm not gonna think it. But anyways, mission obviously doesn't go to exactly to plan, but this is where they kind of get the first introduction of some of those. Blue alien people, Pearl people, survive because you see the first or two of them having some sort of deal with John Goodman's alien ass character.
Right? Yeah, you'll recognize John Goodman immediately because his voice. But I mean, he's in it and then he's gone. You never see him again.
Yeah.
I mean, just this part. He's like, "I'm going to find you and kill you." And then he tries the next 5 minutes and fails, and then you don't see him. So maybe later he'll try. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna make another movie, but even if they do, I don't think his character will show back up.
He's a minor character, but they're going there for the to make a deal specifically for the little beast thing and one of those power pearls. And the beast thing is actually the really cool thing, the little pet.
Yeah,
because it's like eats stuff and then it just makes copies of that.
Yeah, so it's like a 100% perfect, like a reactor.
It's like a copy machine. Like it just, which again is very confusing because where does it get the matter? But whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't.
It's a space odyssey. You got something that takes energy and then turns it into tenfold energy.
Yeah, it's a very useful little creature.
So they're trying to get that for whatever their reasons are. We'll get into that later. But Valerian's there. They do the thing. He kind of interferes somehow on accident, and then he gets into trouble. While in the virtual reality, you have this chase scene in the virtual reality, but sort of out of the virtual reality as well. It's super unique, which was really cool. I thought anyway.
It was really cool looking.
Obviously, the first time I've ever
seen and funny looking. Just visually, to see a guy like just his hand is walking around with a gun, and then the rest of him is in the desert.
And then they shoot. Yeah, and then they shoot scenes back to the desert where you just see him and like random people are just walking around, but you don't see the actual market anymore.
Yeah, you don't see the market. You just see the people with their goggles on and stuff.
And so that was really cool. They get out of that. They get back to their little spaceship or whatever. And
no, hold on, because I did want to talk about. When they're doing this, the way that this John Goodman character is like going to get him, he has a pet. He's got a little Rancor, like a little mini Rancor. And he's like, get him, go sick him, boy. And he does. And then, so they're on the bus with all these people, all their friends or whatever. And then they're like,
comrades.
Yeah. And then they call their ship to come pick him up. And they just leave. And the little Rancor kills all those people. And they don't talk about it.
No, they don't.
They don't mention it. They don't look pissed off or upset.
That's very true.
I was like, hey, these guys are cold-hearted.
He just kills the rest of them. They just completely leave him. Not even a word said about him again. And they're like, all right, well, they were there to die.
Yeah, they literally
talk about
died.
That guy's cool. Like, that guy's like cool, like where he takes over the guard.
Oh,
that was kind of cool. Where, like, virtually controls the guard. That was actually pretty dope.
Yeah, there's a scene where
you can't hit nothing.
But there's a scene. Yeah, you're right. Kara like shoots a guy with something, and then another guy has like a little helmet on, and he just like takes control of that guy.
Yeah, so
and
that was just a cool little tidbit. But anyways, we move on. They're back on the ship now. They got the reactor, the little guy. And no one knows it, but they also got one of the power beads. But so the mission complete. it's time to head back to Alpha Prime, I think is what it's called, or whatever.
I don't think it's Alpha Prime. I think it's just
called Alpha, but it's the city of 1,000 planets.
Yeah, it's the place.
It's like the home base or whatever.
It's the big deal.
Which I guess that started actually.
Yeah, well,
real quick, let's get on that.
Because we didn't mention that how they started. Yeah,
the film starts.
Apparently, it starts with our space station, and then we modulate it with other nations from our place, and then aliens start showing up, and we modulate it with their places, and so now it's just like a big, just all the aliens come here and put it's alien Minecraft. They just come and they add their own module, and then now there's this huge place, which again, really cool idea. I like it.
Very cool, very cool. So, anyways, they're headed back there to have this meeting. They're talking, whatever. And this is where you first get introduced to Owen, or Clive Owen's character. He's kind of a dick.
He's a villain. I mean,
yeah, he's clearly like right off the bat.
You kind of get
this. Even just his walk is like very like not normal.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell he does some stuff immediately that it's like nothing bad but suspicious. That it's like the movie's telling you like, hey, he's the villain. He's the bad guy.
Which I don't know if it's a good thing. I feel like you shouldn't tell that villain right off the bat like that. Like, I mean, I know they don't technically tell it, but it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, well, he's got robots. He's got death machine robots following around, and he's like, if I don't come back, you know what to do.
Yeah, like, it's pretty obvious.
Like, giving him the eye, like, murder everyone.
Anyways.
Why would he tell him that? Go ahead.
But anyway, so we're moving on.
They know what to do.
They're having a council meeting because in the planet, in the city of 1,000 planets, they have this supposed mass of destruction that's about to destroy them in, the next week.
Right, like right in the center of it.
It's right in the center. It's like uninhabitable. You can't breathe there, quote unquote, supposedly.
You can. That's why I said that. You can't. He's a lie. That's not what's going on. But that's the.
But, yeah, exactly. So they're having this meeting with all the different alien head factions, and when we say all, there's only like 12 or 15 there.
Yeah, even though there's like thousands,
1,000 aliens. But anyways,
I guess these are the big dogs.
Maybe they're the big dogs. I guess which would be normal if you have like a head for countries in the U.S. right now. You get it's more than 12, but you certainly don't get all the different countries.
Yeah, I mean, if you look like Star Wars Senate, I don't know. You know.
But on that, they're having a meeting, and then boom, they're under attack. Someone's coming in, bam, wham, bam. Turns out blue people are back for revenge, sort of. And they come in and break through the damn wall, and somehow, now when they were back on this planet, they didn't have like no technology. They were like fairly primitive, even though they had this energy source.
Well, yeah, but it sort of explains
it. It explains it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it comes out, boom, they come out and they have these blasters where they're able to just completely, without taking any losses, take out everybody in the room. They didn't kill them, though. They just, like,
they're in, like, cocoons.
Yeah, like cocoon, like
type,
sleep cocoon
type things.
Which, that was cool, I guess. It tells us a lot about their species. They're not really an aggressive species. They're not trying to kill anyone. They're just trying to meet their goals.
Right. And Valerian, he got a little plane. He puts a little thing in his mouth. Which I thought was going to be like a breathing thing or something, but it's actually like, it just holds like a little teeny spider robot.
Yeah, I guess he had that. He's been trapped in a cocoon before.
I don't know why that even needed to be in his mouth, but yeah, a little teeny cocoon.
But he puts it in there like it's going to be like a breather, and he's just going to like pretend like he's down.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Cut out. Yeah, but
it's a little teeny spider that comes out and cuts him out of it.
Yeah. But anyways, they kidnap Clive Owen's character, the commander. Assuming he has the reactor. This is what they want. They want the reactor and the
creature.
The creature.
The thing that copies things. Okay, yeah.
And they want that so they can get the little pearls of power and multiply them so they can have their energy source back. And essentially the whole goal for them is to recreate their planet. Which I'm still, even by the end of it, not 100% certain on. I mean, they recreated it inside the spaceship?
I don't know what they did.
And then flew off somewhere. Like, where are they going? Like,
you're right. Maybe we should have paid closer attention because I was curious, but we get there when we get there.
Yeah. But anyways, on that note, they capture him, but, what ends up happening is he doesn't even have the damn thing. Laureline has it. They don't realize that, though, so they kidnap him, and Valerian goes on a chase to try and get the commander back from the people. He goes on a chase. It's this long chase, which is really cool because it's kind of like, it's almost kind of like, that Star Wars chase scene, which I know it's hard to, like, you don't really want to talk about the prequels, but this wasn't like a bad part of the prequels. The chase scene with when they're chasing the assassin.
Right, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they're flying through the city of 1,000 planets.
Flying through it, sort of.
Yeah, so Valerian goes to he locks on his spacesuit, which will say one part of the movie was fantastic. I love that spacesuit. The
spacesuits are like Mass Effect spacesuits. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. So he goes like, although I like the spacesuit, what I didn't like was the fact that he just runs through fucking walls in a space station. I'm like, what?
When does that happen?
He just starts power driving through walls through a space station.
Oh, you're right. That does happen at that point.
Yeah,
this is before he gets into, before he does like the ship chase.
Yeah, before the ship chase.
He's like running after him, and then he's like, Lorelai, how do I get to him? She's like, turn now and then go that way. And he's like, there's a wall there. And she's like, yep. And he's like, all right. And he just barrels through a bunch of walls and a bunch of creatures' habitats and stuff. He's messing some shit up for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's cool. He's
I mean, the whole point was obviously to show off his spacesuit.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like it was really cool, but it was at the same time, you're in a space station, bro.
Yeah, it seems
you
like
can't just run through walls.
Super not cool to bust up a bunch of holes into. And yeah. I don't know if it really saved that much time, but it was cool. And then he gets into the spaceship.
Then he gets into a spaceship.
I mean,
goes on a little chase in the spaceship. They're in their spaceship. Which another point, their spaceship then multiplies into a bunch of little spaceships, but they seem very tiny.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
they shrink or something.
I don't think they shrink. I'm thinking like it's just messing with you with scale. I think it's just messing with you with scale. I mean, imagine all of those are like personal size spaceships. Because you got to remember when he first goes after them, he's in their big like Millennium Falcon size.
Yeah. And
then they're in one that's sort of like a triangle, but it's a similar size. And then he goes into his little Skyjet, or whatever it's called, which is a little personal one. And then they all break off into little personal ones.
But how are they all ready, I guess?
That's the thing that I was thinking of when that happened was like, I guess they just immediately were like, get to your pods!
Get to your pods, and just in case.
Yeah.
But anyways, it breaks up. He's chasing after them. He's chasing them toward that center mass, that dark zone that they're not supposed to go into. He hooks onto him with some cleverness.
I don't know
if you can call Dane clever. Hate to break it to you. I saw the guy in Chronicle. Think he did a fantastic job. In this movie, he's fucking shit.
That's unimportant to what we're talking about right now.
It's not, because it's the one major part that ruined the movie, if you can say it's ruined, which I'm not going to say it is. I still think it's a good movie, or a decent movie. But the one part you could say did was Dane DeHaan's character. Again, I'm not necessarily saying because of his acting, but it just did not fit the role at all.
Right, yeah.
And even I don't know, just every part of it.
His character didn't quite make sense to me either.
Over and over again.
His character didn't make sense to me either. His character was really he was kind of, we were talking about before, maybe I just missed some sarcasm or something, but he was like, hey man, I'm a top dog soldier, I'm doing everything right, but then every time you see him, he's really laid back and not taking anything seriously. And then he's like, even later on, he's like, I'm a soldier, I follow the rules, I do everything right. I'm like, that's not really the type of character you seem like you're playing.
Exactly. So
also, just a note on their relationship, because the whole time he's trying to hook up with her. He's trying to be like, marry me. We're gonna be great together. She's like, you gotta delete your playlist for me. So, playlist sort of implies that video? Does that mean he's taking sex tapes of all his girlfriends? Because she doesn't say your list, she says your playlist.
Very true.
So I guess he just has a bunch of sex tapes on his ship.
Oh yeah, I guess he does. Which again, I don't see that guy getting laid that much. Okay, this is really another problem. I don't like Dane DeHaan.
I just want to point out that Dane DeHaan, we're talking about him looking like he's kind of a teenager or something. He's actually 31. So
yeah, well, he's actually 31. The character he plays, I haven't read the comics or whatever, the graphic novels, but I don't know if there's an age he's supposed to be. But judging based on what, I've been doing this for 9 years, and, he's supposed to be this special agent badass.
I think his character is
supposed to be... He looks like he's a fucking 15-year-old.
I think his character is supposed to be, a decade in, and, pretty experienced and good. And I think she is supposed to be almost right out of college. I think they even said, Ivy League, which
is why I actually think Kara did an okay job. I'm not saying she was the best ever, but at least she fit her role a lot more. And like we were talking earlier, I feel like they could have cut her hair and made her look a little more military-esque, because she is, they're in the fucking military. I'm not saying she's got to be out right out of the academy looking military, but I feel like, I mean, you look at our military women, like generally, and men, they all are a lot more clean cropped. Even the special agents, which will a lot of times have, like, because they're going undercover, they'll have beards and stuff, they're still, I don't know, I feel like they're still more clean cropped than that.
Maybe. I don't know.
You're not seeing them with, like, hair down to their fucking back.
I haven't met a lot of secret or special agents.
I guess I haven't either, but, just saying what you would expect to see. So, anyways, let's get off the Dane DeHaan tangent, because I think he's off for this part.
Anyways,
let's get back to the story.
He's chasing the thing. He shoots out a little, like a grappling hook. It's not a very good grappling. It's not a very high tech grappling hook though, because all it does is the grappling hook part. There's no it doesn't then shock the vehicle or anything. It doesn't do anything cool. So it just latches on, and
it just becomes a tow machine.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work for him.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. He thinks it works.
He goes, nailed it, and then immediately he's like, "Oh, you think you're so clever, but I just got you with the grappling hook," and then the ship just just throws him in the walls because obviously it does.
Throws him in the walls. Yeah.
So I don't know why.
Yeah.
That seemed weird.
Based
on
his part. That, he gets thrown around in walls, and the hook eventually lets go, I guess, or whatever, because they lose him into the
and he's unconscious somewhere.
He's unconscious somewhere. Loreline then, she's like, all right, I'm going to get my homie, because I say I don't like him this entire movie, but I do like him, and I'm going to fuck laws. What my commanding officer tells me, I'm going in. And so that's what she does.
She goes talks to these aliens who are all about trading information.
Which I did like them.
Yeah, they're little weird things.
They were a little weird. These three little anteater looking things, I guess. I don't know.
They had trunks or something.
They're like trunks. I don't know. But they were kind of cool. They had it was one of the more creative spots where I thought like it had some like comedic value that actually, I guess, kind of made sense to the story. I'm trying to think. Almost like Men in Black with the
I was
dog.
thinking the little okay, yeah. I was actually thinking
the
of
little aliens.
The worms.
Yeah, the worms. Yeah.
But the worms are probably funnier than these guys are. These guys are silly.
Yeah, they're silly, but they were cute and funny and whatnot. I actually liked them in the movie. I don't know how you felt about it, but
they were fun. They had a specific role. They were like the information people, and everyone who see them immediately are just like, "Oh, come on, you guys! I hate you guys!" And they're like, "Nah, because we're cool." And so she goes and talks to them about how to find Dane, Valerian,
the V-Man.
They're like, we know one way to do it, and then they go to the weird underwater ship guy.
Yep.
That was a weird scene. They get his attention by like having like champagne or something on a hook.
I don't even know what's up there.
I don't know. They just drag it over his ship, and then he just pops out of nowhere and pulls it off, and then like the foam part just starts putting the foam part into his mouth, and he's like, "What do you guys want?" And then they make a deal for her to go down there and get like a weird jellyfish,
which can somehow link her to Valerian's mind and see what he saw in the last whatever.
Yeah, and then that happens. They go get the jellyfish. Yep. She puts the jellyfish on her head. She, mind melds with the jellyfish.
Which, by the way, they said you couldn't do that for more than a minute without losing it. Like, not even 1 second.
Well, without it starting to eat. She said,
but they showed no ramifications. Of
and I thought she was going to be like, when she was saying stuff after she got out of it, she was like, "What does this mean?" But I thought she was actually going to be like, "My name's this. I was from here." Like, she was going to start trying to jog her memory. She was going to start saying stuff. But no, she just gets out and there's no consequences for that.
Anyways, she sees where he is, supposedly, whatever. She takes off to go find him. She finds Dane. He's unconscious. She brings him back. And then, I guess it's time for Act 3. Because,
right.
While he's trying to, I guess, fix his little ship pod thing, there's these, like, butterflies over this canyon.
Oh, right, yeah. Immediately after what's his name? Immediately after she has to find him, she touches a butterfly and is like, "This is cool." And he's like, "Yeah, cool, but don't touch him." And then it's like a hook. And so it's actually, they're like fishing lures, basically. And so she's hooked, and she's going up, and he's like, Come on, man.
How is she even hooked? I mean, she would have to hang on. Maybe she's over the canyon at that point. So
I think the butterflies hook you somehow.
Yeah, I guess maybe. But anyway,
what actually got me
she
is
gets reeled up by these essentially like Ogier type aliens.
Yeah, they're weird. He follows, but she's already gone by the time he gets there. She's into their enclave.
Yeah, and you can't go into the enclave unless you're one of these type.
It says in English, no foreigners allowed.
In English, no foreigners allowed.
I mean, I think it's that. I mean, I give him that. That's right.
I mean, I give him that too. So at this point, he's got to figure a way in, and this is where he goes to essentially meet Rihanna's character, because we all know Rihanna's in this movie.
But real quick, just a heads up on these guys, because I thought this part was weird, and I wanted to mention this. It kind of does a zoom back to the now acting commander. Now that the actual commander is kidnapped, there's another guy who's acting commander.
General.
Yeah, the general, and he's like, we found the guys, basically. We found Laureline. We found Laureline. Where's she at? She's in these no foreigners allowed place. And he's like, oh shit, nobody gets in there or gets out. Like, that's a big deal. But then I was thinking the whole time, these guys are using spears and fishing rods. These are not advanced people. In a city filled with advanced people, what does he mean no one gets in or gets out?
That is true.
Like 3 of those death robots could get in easily and take out that whole
their entire race in there. Yeah.
Anyways,
I guess you don't want to kill all the race, but
yeah, maybe
if
diplomatic flaws.
If your agent's in there, you might want to. On that note, which I also found funny was like, give Valerian whatever help. She like sends out that commander, or the general sends out a command. Give Valerian any help he can get because she realizes where they're at. Right. And Valerian immediately, as he says that, like holds up one of the guards.
Oh yeah,
freezes him and takes his gun. I was like, oh, because in the communication he's like, help Valerian, or Valerian wanted. He's not dangerous at all. And
it like flashes like not dangerous.
Yeah, then he holds the guard up, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Then we get to the Rihanna scene where he's trying to find Rihanna because he needs to look like one of these ogre things, and big spoiler here, Rihanna's
a glamapod.
A glamapod, which
I don't
is
know, something like that.
Flubber thing. A blue flubber.
She's a slime girl.
A slime girl who can transform into pretty much anybody. Which was cool.
No, she was cool. What was weird about that is that basically there's like a guy, he's like, I can get you whatever you need. He's like, I don't know about that. He's like, you got one of these? And he's like, come with me. And so he brings him back there. And then like Rihanna puts on a private show for this guy. And is like, you don't want me or whatever? But is that this guy's business model? To just pull like random dudes off the street and be like,
he's like a
how much
pimp, I guess.
Yeah. But like he has a nice setup for what is essentially one one, you know what I mean? Like,
he's got more. I think it's implied he's got more.
I assumed it was going to be like
I don't think he's got just Rihanna.
I assumed he was going to like fill a thing and put on a show. She puts on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for him.
So I don't know. I thought that was a bit weird.
It's a personal show, Jared.
Yeah, it was a personal show in a big club. Sort of. I don't know, not a big club, but in a club.
I just assumed that was like,
maybe the club was closed?
I mean, I think that was just, I don't think that was a club. I mean, I guess maybe it was kind of like a club thing, but.
It had a stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, a stage she puts on the show. I guess what I'm saying is I think that was just one aspect to his business.
Sure, okay.
But I don't think it's worth looking at. Maybe you're right. Maybe there should have been.
Yeah, whatever. There. Don't look too deep into these things.
It's not a movie you can go real deep into, I feel like.
They just kind of touch
a lot of scenes.
Like I said, the story is all about like, hey, check this thing out. All right, what about this?
I mean, it's a space odyssey, So anytime you're dealing with a space odyssey, I feel like you can go deep into backstory maybe, but not so much into a lot of specific things that happen. But all that, he gets his little shapeshifter lady. They go to rescue Laureline, whatever, and she's about to become Emperor Ogre's meal, which I thought that was funny. She has this ridiculous dress on. She's walking with this ridiculous hat on, and on her, like all these plates before her have like entrees on it, and she walks up with her plate just has like 2 big ass lemons.
It's like 2 orange, or two some type of citrus fruit. And or like a split one, maybe.
Yeah, when I say big, I mean like as big as your fucking head. Like
they're big, and she thinks that's what she's gonna give him, so she gives him that, and then he like tastes it, and he's like, nice, and then he squeezes it on top of the hat, and it reveals that the top of the hat her like top of the head is exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
he's about to eat her brains, eat her head and her brains. And she's not down with that. And Valerian's not down with that. So Valerian gets out and
murders everyone in that room. Basically single-handedly with knives.
Yeah. Single-handedly with knives kills all the big ogres.
Almost, you were saying, is a part why you don't like Dane. Because it didn't look like he was capable of doing that.
Yeah.
He was doing it.
Even though he had, I guess maybe still had the suit on. He just didn't seem like he was capable of...
I actually...
Like, if you even watch it, he seems sluggish when he's doing it. You know what it reminds me of?
It actually didn't bother me that much, but...
I don't know. I guess the choreography wasn't great. He was just like semi-slicing these ogres with fucking machetes.
Well, there was some kind of high-tech machete.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, they were like glowing.
I think it was their blood.
They were glowing with blood?
Their blood is green glowy blood.
Oh, maybe you're right.
I don't think it was high-tech machetes. Because nothing seemed very high-tech about anything they had.
What about those butterfly things?
That was just some random... That's like finding a worm. If we have found a worm that glows on the ground and we use it to fish, it's not making you high-tech. Those butterflies, I feel like, were just some special lure. But on that note, kills them all. All of them, like...
Yeah, he just... No, not all of them.
Well, yeah.
All of them, like, in the room, I think.
Yeah, all of them in the vicinity. The rest of them come around. They're about to come get them. They jump down the... they pull a Star Wars scene.
Yeah, they go down the garbage chute. They go down the garbage chute, and they end up in the garbage chute. Yeah. And then Bubble. Rihanna, whose name is Bubble in the thing, she dies right here. Very unceremoniously, really, like...
Yeah, when they went down...
I don't know why she did. I don't forget really why she died.
Yeah, she's like, I must have been hurt when I was like...
I guess I was hurt.
Can you even be hurt? Like that? Like... It didn't really make sense for her death either.
Creature,
I was like,
what do you mean? What's going on?
Like,
I don't know. I guess they just wanted to get rid of her.
I mean, I think that's what they wanted to do, but I feel like they should have just been like, all right, well, I'm going to leave now.
And then why she dies, Valerian has a very emotional scene with her.
Because Valerian's in love with Lorelai.
I didn't like
and Bubble knows.
Necessarily. Well, not that I didn't like it. It confused me because, again, go back to all those agents before they didn't give a shit about. And then Bubble dies. Rihanna dies, and he's like, Riri, no!
Riri, no!
So, I was a little...
Yeah, that was an odd
I was looking at it a little bit weird.
Like, literally, when they went down the chute, I was like, and it took forever to see Bubble before she stuck her little hand up.
It was hard for me to take that scene seriously, I guess, is what I mean.
It just kind of was like, I don't really see her...
Why did she die, and why did he care about it, but he didn't care about those other people?
Yeah. So, yeah, that was an odd one, but I guess, sorry, Riri. And we go on to the next scene, which is now that they're back, the powerhouse is back together. We're on to the fourth act, I guess. And Valerian and Lorelai go to the center mass. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They understand now that the commander's in on it, I think, at this point. They realize the commander's... He certainly knows he goes in there knowing something's not right.
Yeah, well, he recognizes, I think, at this point that going back to the beginning when the aliens are having their crisis or whatever on the beach. Some of the aliens basically get into like a pod. One of the aliens, the princess, doesn't get into the pod, and she just dies. Like she lets out her energy.
Yeah.
And you learn basically the energy goes into the.
She treasures her.
Yeah, she puts her soul into this dude basically, and so the whole idea is the whole time this is going on, he's got her inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like pretty much chill with these blue dudes, or I don't know, they're not blue, but
the pearl people,
the pearls.
So he knows something's not going on. So they're like, "We're going to the center." They go to the center right off the bat. When he's even saying this in the movie, something's not right because they're in the center and they can breathe.
And they can breathe. From
the beginning, he was like, "Can't go there. It's toxic. You'll die if you breathe in." So he's like, obviously, some shit's not right. Some fishy shit's going on. They find this portal.
Yeah, it's like a Stargate.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Stargate, but it doesn't lead anywhere.
I don't think it's a Stargate. It's just like go away.
It's a signal. I think it's a signal blocker.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's like it goes around the whole ship bay and it blocks signals.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
Yeah, because it looks different when they turn off the signals.
You're right. Yeah, it does look different when they do that.
It stops like moving. Like right now, it kind of swirls a little bit and shimmers. It kind of stops doing that.
Yeah.
So they go inside, go through the gate. And they go in there and they see all these people. Like, you see all the refugees. They're all like essentially refugees, like living in this like cargo bay.
Yeah, it's like a cargo bay of a ship.
Yeah, of a ship,
and then they just it's just exposition.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
It's just exposition from that point.
Essentially, at this point, they see the commander. They meet the king and queen who survived, and
they're like, "Hey, we were in that pod."
They explain how they got the technology. Like, essentially, they were in the pod, and this was crazy. They somehow survived learning to do all this in like 30 years on a pod.
Yeah, they were like, we were on a pod, and we just learned how to make tomatoes.
Yeah, we were primitive, and we randomly learned how to read.
But
learn about all the technology, learn about all the other species that we learn how to grow.
What they say is that they basically just spend the next 30 years gaining the knowledge of a whole bunch of things. Like, they just seek out knowledge. When they get to Alpha, they just go crazy on that knowledge train. Because the whole point is like everybody brings their own unique knowledge and technology to this place, and they just combine all of it to get smart really quickly. As a species.
So yeah, they essentially go through what would normally take, a species 500 years, and they go through in like 30 years to teach all the people, they get that thing. And so they get in this base and they build their ship back to, I guess, they build like a new ship essentially.
Yeah.
In this cargo bay with the capability of taking this reactor and these spheres and reforming their planet.
Well, I think the cargo bay is in the ship.
Yeah, but I mean, like, They like repair the ship or whatever, or build a ship,
and they build everything ready to basic. I seem like this is what we were talking about earlier. I'm not 100% sure what the end goal here is. Is it just a hologram that
it looks like a hologram
their planet, or are they actually making their planet?
Yeah, so like, I would have got to go send that pod down to some random planet and
then it makes
terraform a planet or something,
or is it literally just like a habitable ship? Is it just a habitable ship that needs the energy to run? Either way, it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't
but
really matter.
Ultimately, the two things that they need the little buddy that takes things and then makes copies of them, and then they need the power pearls so that they can take the power pearl, make copies of it, have unlimited energy, I guess.
Yeah. Which to, I guess, reform their planet.
That's the whole
a home at least.
Yeah, that's their whole mission that kicked off this thing.
So they get in there. The commander wakes up. Obviously, at this point, Valerian. They hear the whole story, and the commander's the dickhead who destroyed their planet. Which is a spoiler alert. Now, commander is the one who destroyed their planet. I mean, not a spoiler, but we just haven't said it.
Yeah,
the commander was the one who was there, who literally said the command. That's why he's been trying to cover this up. To destroy their planet, and he knew that they were on there. He essentially wiped out their species. It was just luck that they survived on this cargo ship.
What was happening was he was in like a war with someone else, with another species or maybe other humans. I don't know. It wasn't really clear. But they were in a war with someone else, and he basically was losing, I guess, and decided to shoot off some missiles or something, and they brought down this big-ass ship of the enemy people, and then the enemy ship crashed. All the ships and missiles and stuff crashed into the planet, killed the planet, and so he was ultimately responsible for destroying the planet. But he was up. He was like a soldier arguing. He was like, "Hey, man, I did what I had to do. Economy. If it got out that we did this, the economy would have been ruined. But I had to do it because we were losing the war or something."
Yeah, something along those lines. But
he has an excuse.
Yeah, he has his excuses. Valerian's like, fuck you, punches the guy and knocks him out. But in the meantime, the commander's order, he realizes Valerian's gone and Loreline have gone down to the 0 point, to this bad point, and sends troops in the background or in the back. Following these troops is also those metal troops that are
the robot guys.
Yeah, Owen's, special guard.
Clive Owen has all these robot dudes who follow him around and listen to him. And nobody thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, wait a minute.
Why are these things coming? Yeah.
Why are these killer machines following you around again?
So essentially, they see him outside. Shit, they're coming. Valerian's like, shit, we got to get in contact with the general.
Right.
Get in contact with hey, general, don't come in, don't attack. They're peaceful people. He doesn't exactly trust them, so he's like, you got to get the commander. And so they get the commander, and the commander's like, I'm a soldier.
He's like, I'd rather die than be humiliated. That's like literally what he says.
Yeah, he says that, and then he essentially says attack, and like all his little metal ass soldiers start killing the human troops on the command center platform and outside the gate, and just start going on a full on attack. And this is where Valerian goes. He actually goes G.I. Joe for a minute here, which was the one cool action scene I actually thought was a cool action scene.
So you thought he was capable of this, but not the knife thing?
Well, first off, he didn't have to use his actual strength in this fight.
True. He was running around with his gun and stuff, yeah.
And I still think it would have been better if someone like a Chris Pratt type would have been there doing it. But
one of those.
I just meant like it seemed a lot more fluid. Like when you see him do the knife fight scene earlier, it just seemed like he was very sluggish. Like it didn't look really
Anyway,
good.
yeah, he goes out to the front of the gate and he kills all the robots.
Yeah.
He pretty much.
Yeah, he essentially runs around killing all the robots. They stop the countdown. They have bombs placed outside, by the way. They stop the countdown of the bombs.
It's kind of unimportant. It's like an important side thing, but then since they're not going to blow up, it doesn't really ultimately matter.
The ship has its energy. It takes off with Valerian jumps back through the portal, takes off with Valerian and
Lorelei in tow, but leaving the old commander behind, the guy who's
obviously now just confessed.
Yeah, he's not going to get arrested.
He didn't technically confess, but when he tells his robots to kill everybody, it's kind of in a confession. And that's in pieces around, and the man got his
It's about wrapped up at that point. I think next thing we see is... I think first it goes to the people who are on their planet or ship, whatever. I don't remember how that... I should have paid more attention to what
it doesn't show them again. It doesn't show them.
I'm pretty sure. Whatever.
Even if it doesn't matter. They're off. They drop Lorelei and Valerian off in some space pod. And they confess their love for each other. And they're about
they kind of do. They like, we got a relationship going. Basically, what's his name proposes again.
Deletes his playlist.
Yeah, he deletes his sex playlist.
His sex playlist.
Valerian's like, so marry me now, though, right? And she's like, maybe. But, yeah, we got a relationship going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's pretty much...
That's how it ends.
The end of the movie, and I have to say... I'm probably going to have to give it a 6 out of 10 for me.
That's about right.
If Dane was replaced, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
It's a movie that visually I really liked. And then just story-wise, it was just nothing too much to it. It was just a story to get you to one place to another. Yeah, and then the acting in it, basically the cast made it just hard to... There's so many things where you're just like, well, come on. Like, they're not even on the same wavelength right now.
Yeah.
And I'll say that. Chemistry seemed to not be good for the two main actors, Cara and...
I think that was overall the big issue with it. Like, the storyline could have been a little better, but that wasn't too bad. The biggest issue was just the chemistry between the two main characters, Dane, Dahan, and Cara, who, again... the big issue, actually, I really think, for me personally, was their chemistry, but also just Dane to Har. Like, I know I've kind of said this a few times now.
You're angry about it.
Well, I mean...
This guy bullying you in high school?
It's a futuristic sci-fi movie, which you really want to do good if you're a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy like I am. And you want producers to keep being like, yeah, let's make these kinds of movies. But you want them to be really good, and I feel like that movie had potential to be, another 2 or 3 star better. Literally just from replacing Dane with someone else who would have been better. I think it would have been 2 stars better. And again, I don't think he's a bad actor, because in Chronicle, I think he did a fantastic job. But
I think it was bad casting. I don't want to say it was bad acting.
Yeah, I don't either. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a bad.
It could have been
bad.
It could have been, but casting. It didn't feel. It wasn't like Last Airbender where I was like, these guys, what? It wasn't like that. It was more just like, I just didn't follow him. I didn't believe him, and I just couldn't conceive.
It was just way too young.
Dane is he was too young. That's the whole problem.
Kara kind of, again, makes a little sense because...
She was supposed to be like a student almost. Well, sort of. She was like pretty close to right out of college.
I'm not going to say what she was supposed to be, but what she came off as being is that she is his partner, but like obviously the younger, more unexperienced partner.
He was the major, she was the sergeant. Like, she was taking orders from him.
Exactly.
So she seemed to be like, he's been doing this for a decade and been doing it real nice. He's good at his job. She kind of comes in, and this is like, this is his new partner, his new younger partner that he gets to boss around almost. You know what I mean? Like, not boss around, but he's in control, and so she's the younger one, and she did a good job of that, I guess. Or it's okay for her character to be younger in that scenario. It's really weird when this guy looks maybe
15.
her age or maybe a little younger to be like, man, you just gotten this. I've been doing this for a decade.
I've been doing this for a while now. Like, you should look a little older than my buddy.
But again, that guy is like 31, so maybe it's just me.
It's about perception. And perception is the guy that's way too young and inexperienced looking. So, on that note, your final thoughts for the movie, or what you would give it rating-wise?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably, like you said, and like everyone's saying, probably about a 6 out of 10, or an average score. Worth the watch for the visuals. Not something I probably want to watch again, because it just
wasn't enthralling enough.
Yeah, the story or the characters and stuff they don't work really. They don't really work.
Definitely think it's worth the initial watch, though. I'll definitely.
But there is a lot of cool stuff in it if you're just looking for an interesting thing.
Overall, I like the movie a decent bit. It's, mainly just the casting choices. So on that note, this is us, the Brothers Woods.
Are we committing to that now?
I don't know if we're committing to that. But
you'll know if we committed to that.
Yeah. But we're going out. Hope maybe the name of the podcast for now anyways. I'm Josh.
Jared. Is there anything else we should talk about? We talked about their relationship and how that didn't really pan out. We talked about Dean Dell or Dane's cook.
Dane.
We talked about his character and how we didn't really think it fit or worked. I think I talked a little bit, and I wanted to make sure I talked about how I thought his character, overall, like the written character, didn't actually make that much sense to me. Because it was like, it was like a mix between I take my job very seriously and I don't take my job very seriously. Sometimes he would be like, I follow the rules. That's who I am as a person. And then other times he would be like, calm down. We're not even doing anything important. Like, chill. Or I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, he was a conflicting character.
Yeah, it just, that his character kind of confused me. But Cara did a decent job. Her character made sense most of the time, I think.
I actually think, a lot of people are hating on Cara, but I think she did an okay job. I'm not going to say she was the best ever. But at the same time, I think she did a decent job. She did the lines she was given. And I think that was one thing. The script lines were a little off in this movie, I feel like, compared to something like The Fifth Element.
The dialogue was a little bit off. But that could have been just chemistry. I could chalk that up to chemistry.
Yeah, I could chalk it up to the chemistry and actors.
Yeah.
Again, because like with the Dane thing, there were certain lines he had that I think were supposed to come off as certain ways. And, Jared didn't even realize that's how they were supposed to come off. Like, they were supposed to be sarcastic, and Jared thought that he was being serious, things like that. And it's kind of an actor's choice, kind of thing, in my opinion. But
I mean, I guess. But the director does have to be like, that's not how we want it. I mean, Luc Besson, your fault.
Yeah. Luc Besson, did The Fifth Element, which I love, but he could have done a little better here.
I kind of like Lucy. Remember, Lucy had like a. I enjoyed the start of Lucy, and then at the end it falls apart.
Yeah, has a very.
This one kind of falls apart as well.
Agreed.
So that's the two big things, two big negatives. Bad casting for Dane mostly, and and then the story itself it's basically there's not much of a story really, and then it just falls apart at the end. Well, you know why it falls apart. You know why I'd say it falls apart. It doesn't really fall apart as much as. I think they kind of build up a suspense. Like, they're like, whoa, something's going on here. And then what's going on there is, like, the most boring, like, you probably guessed it immediately. I know I did. Yeah, I immediately was like, oh, a war happened, and then that fucking commander dude he was the fault. I immediately knew what was going on.
The story was a little weak. It was like one story that you've heard 1,000 times.
Yeah, it was a little like that.
On top of that, it was way too obviously written. You know what I mean? Like, it was like just the way the commander was just over the top obvious for me. Like it didn't have any sort of suspense.
Right.
You know, and it's really boring when you kind of already know
what's going to happen, and
there's no extra layers there. It was very like one dimensional.
I think what the problem is I can forgive not having that stuff and just having like kind of a boring but clear story if I like the characters and their interactions a lot.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's where it felt like if you look at like Guardians of the Galaxy, there's no surprises there. And that movie is not a very deep movie, but I love that movie because I just like
it's very character.
Chris Pratt is great. He's a great guy.
Exactly. And this one didn't, and I think that's actually again with The Fifth Element, which is very
that's very
character.
All these are blockbusters. They're all straightforward.
The casting was kind of bad, and even the characters were a little on the dull side.
So you're right. I would chalk it up just down to characters didn't impress me, and they didn't interact in a way that I wanted to see them.
Yeah.
But still worth the watch. But I'm probably not going to care to watch it again.
Yeah, agreed. That's where I'm going to leave it at. I'm going to leave it with probably like a 6 out of 10. Worth the watch for sure. The visuals were amazing, but it might be on the background every once in a while on cable TV that I don't have.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Which means I'll never see it again.
We cut the cable, guys.
So that's going to be it for us here today at the Brothers Woods.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see you next time.